for him?
Yes.
Well, okay, good. Yeah.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we could hear you.
Okay. I'm Amar Ahmed from Pakistan, and I came to NPU in 2019. So here in today's presentation, I will be sharing some research experiences and some ideas to do effective research at NPU. So all of the newcomers which are present in this presentation, I request you to be very attentive during the presentation because it is all about the research for which you are coming to NPU. So to do good research and having effective ideas to conduct good research in resulting very high impact factor research papers, you need a lot of ideas and lot of things at NPU. So this presentation will brief you in terms of some effective ideas to write good research papers. So I will be sharing some experiences. Let me share my presentation. So can you see the presentation?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we can see.
Yes.
Thank
Proceed.
you.
Okay. So the topic of discussion is research experience and ideas to do effective research, as I mentioned before. And the contents of the presentation I'm skipping due to the shortage of time. And I'm myself 29. I'm the student of 2019 batch in NPU with 95.14 percentage of average course grade at NPU. And my supervisor is Professor Wang Jianen from School of Mechanical Engineering. I was the student who attained first position in Pakistan in Higher Education Commission for Chinese Government Scholarship. So at NPU, it is a deal of great motivation for all of the newcomer students that anybody who conducts good research paper and publishes high impact factor research papers, he can be nominated for Excellent International Student Award from Chinese Scholarship Council. I was lucky enough to be nominated for this scholarship, for this award. And all of the newcomers, they can be nominated for this award, which is a very honor for you to be part of it, because it helps you a lot in your future, whether you are going to do some job in foreign or in your local regions. I won Outstanding International Student Award for Best Research at NPU. About my PhD dissertation, just this some of the things which can motivate you. So here, the topic of my PhD research is related to design, modeling, and analysis of a novel ocean wave energy harvesting mechanism for self-powering applications, which will be an effort towards the development of blue economy. So these are some themes of my PhD dissertation. I will be designing a mechanism and testing the mechanism with various floating buoy shapes for ocean energy harvesting. So here at NPU, the topic which you select should have great significance with respect to some sustainable development goals or some other benefits of society. For example, my thesis, which will be delivering a topic related to affordable clean energy, which is a subtopic of sustainable development goals from United Nations. Furthermore, it will be a step towards the development of blue economy, for example, exploitation, preservation, and regeneration of the marine environment. So here you have to justify the significance of the dissertation, whether you are the master students or you are the PhD students. So my brief research profile and background. Here at NPU, I was able to publish 7 high impact factor SCI research papers from 2020 to 2021, and I motivate all of the newcomers to do their best while staying at NPU. And furthermore, I was able to submit more than 8 research papers in good SCI impact factor journals. And furthermore, recently I'm working on more than 4 papers. Some of the publications, just going through. And the research papers which are in process and will be published very soon. I'm not describing the details of the research papers because it is just a motivational speak, so that you may have a very good journey from the start at NPU. Moreover, I have some patents. First of all, there is a mechanism for harvesting kinetic energy from railway cars, and the patent is submitted to IPO Pakistan and is in the process of submission in China. The other one is the harvesting of kinetic energy from road through movable speed bump. It is submitted to IPO Pakistan and is in the process of submission in China, maybe in coming future. So, starting from the discussion of research and publication cycle, the students which will be pursuing a research-based career, they should know that what basically is research, or what is basically to publish a research paper. So first of all, the first step in this cycle is the problem identification. And the only way to identify some problem is to have a very good literature review by studying some research papers, by studying patents, magazines, journals, etc. The second step, it is related to finding the previously available solutions from published literature, so that you can conclude which solution is better or which solution needs to be improved. So the third step is that you find out that is the solution which has been conducted before is perfect or not, or some those problems which are unsolved yet. So you find some lack or some novelty from the literature review, and then you develop a knowledge gap, the fourth step. This is the thing you have to do as your project, as your thesis, as your dissertation, or as your research paper during your studies. The fifth one is proposing a novel solution, which will be your novelty. So you will perform some simulations or experiments to do so. And then the number 6, you will justify that your solution is valid or acceptable and prove it by some real-time application so that your solution can be globalized. And the last step is the globalization of the solution, specifically your solution, for the benefit of society. The method of research, it includes 6 very fundamental steps, which you all know. The first one is that to make an observation. For example, he is a child who sees a small thing, maybe some rubbish at on the floor. So what he do, he imagines that maybe it is something to eat. So he makes an hypothesis, which is that he should eat it, and it may be something to eat. The third step is that he will go to have some validation, or he will try it doing an experiment. So what he will do, he will eat it. At number 4, what he will do, he will make some analysis of the result, whether it is good or it is bad, it is pungent or it is sweet maybe. So he will analyze the results, and then number 5, what he will do, he will give some reaction. He will report his findings maybe by giving some expressions, weird expressions, or maybe by crying to the surroundings, maybe to his parents. And then to up till now, all of these steps, they are actually the real-time steps, but the number 6 step here, it is to just elaborate the method of research, to elaborate the cycle of research. So what he will do, he will give this piece of rubbish to another child so that he can taste it and he can make a decision whether he likes it or he likes it not. So the 6th step is invite others to reproduce the results or to check the results, whether they are correct or not. It is called justification or verification of the results. The next one, writing a research paper. It is not a simple process as you can see in this figure. The first step is studying the literature review. It includes an extensive literature review. The second one is problem identification. You find out some research gap or novelty or some problem which you have to solve. Number 3, you make a goal or you propose a solution that you have to justify through your experiments or simulations. Number 4 is your methodology. Again, it includes maybe experiments or some simulations to solidify your proposal. Number 5 is the preparation of experimentation or simulation. And number 6 is the experiments or simulation itself. From here, there is a peak, whether it decides that your experiments are valid or are good enough or not. So from the peak, you get some results from the experiments or simulations, and you process those results in the form of graphs, bar charts, tables, and some other kind of pictures, flow charts or layouts. So what you do, if you see that your results are fulfilling the solution of the problem which you chose in the first step, then you will publish your study and publish your solution with enough accuracy that your solution is accurate for the problem. If not, then at number 8, what you do, you refine your methodology to get more results or more suitable results. Maybe there is some lack of experimental parameters or variables or environmental conditions which you need to refine for getting better results. And then from here, the cycle is start, and you write the literature review of the research paper. So from the peak to the number step to the number 12, from number 7 to number 12, it is the cycle, it is the procedure of writing a research paper. First of all, you write the results and findings in the form of graphs. Then you elaborate the methodology. You finalize the section of methodology of the research paper. And number 9, what you do, you write literature review. And number 10, you write abstract. Number 11, keywords or highlights. And at last, you define the title of your research paper. Now the cycle of publication, it is a very lengthy process. So those candidates who are admitted in PhD, they will be recommended in future to do research effectively, taking full use of time, because to publish a research paper, first of all, to write a research paper is way too lengthy, and then to publish a research paper is way too lengthy, and you have to wait a lot. So you must use the time very efficiently. There are some steps which you need to prepare your paper and then submit your paper. First of all is write up. Okay, after writing up, you approve your manuscript or paper from supervisors, peers, language experts, and number 2, you will find some suitable journal for your paper. Number 3 is you complete all of the accessory files. Number 4, you perform submission. Number 5, your paper will be judged by editor or reviewers. Number 6, maybe acceptance or maybe rejection. Number 7, prime. If your paper is accepted, then your paper will be gone for production. If not, then number 7, maybe there will be some comments of reviewers which you will use to accommodate or to improve the quality of the paper, adjustment or refinement. Okay. And number 9, again, you will find a journal and then you will put a resubmission. Number 11, again, reviewers and then suggestions. And hence this cycle
उसने मशीन
starts.
चला दी थी.
So the tools for research writing, they are even more important than the previous topics. For effective literature review and extensive knowledge survey, you can use Google Scholar, Science Direct, Scientific.net, Clarivate Web of Science, and many more tools. There are some very authentic tools which I have put in the presentation. And here, Web of Science is shown, which is a very ultimate source of finding authentic literature. So here at NPU, when you will be getting an email ID from NPU, then you can make your own Web of Science account to find more and more good research papers, to get more and more extensive literature review, and to publish more and more research papers. As you know that if you have to publish good research papers, you have to study good research papers. So it is my student ID. Similarly, all of you can put your student ID to make an account on Web of Science. Maybe it will be very easy for you when you got your email ID. So another tool which is very important for doing a literature review and to find important research dimensions for your research and for your thesis is SiteSpace. Later, maybe we can discuss it in detail, but now I am just letting it, leaving it for the future. But using SiteSpace, you can find leading papers and journals, influential keywords, knowledge clusters, knowledge structure, hotspots in your research direction, and latest research domains, which all of you will need to determine their own field of research for their dissertation or thesis. Here is a sample. Using SiteSpace and Web of Science, you can determine various subdomains within a particular research direction. And then you can choose any one for your dissertation. So for making very beautiful charts, figures, graphical abstracts, or some other statistical procedures, you can use eDrawMax, Visio, Origin Pro, Microsoft Excel. Some other tools which will be used to find versatile color combinations for your figures. There are some websites. You can use color combinations for figures or charts, and then for maps, you can define various color contrasts, and then you can use word art, and then you can remove background of some pictures using these websites. Here is a video showing some of the pictures which I made for my research papers. These are some samples. Okay, now for enhanced quality figures and the quality of manuscript itself, you can use these tools, which can be discussed in later presentations. First of all is SolidWorks Composer. For reference management, most of the students will need to use various softwares to put references in their dissertation or their research papers. So here is a tool which is called Mendeley, which is very effective for reference management. Number 3 is Keyshot, which is for developing high quality rendering and high quality videos of your studies. Number 4 is Adobe Premiere for making video and editing video. Moreover, the students which will be making their own prototypes and they have to conduct experiments for their dissertation, especially for PhD students. Some master students also can perform their prototyping, but PhD students are more related to the experimental test bench and prototypes. So to make standard parts and drawings, and then to design a part and fabricate it in China, it is not very easy or not very simple. But if you know the procedure for making all of the things or to achieve all of the things, then it may be easy for you, because the language is Chinese and all of the international peoples feel it that it is way too difficult. So first of all, you use some CAD softwares, for example, Autodesk, SolidWorks, Inventor, Fusion, MATLAB, or ANSYS. You conduct some simulations on MATLAB or ANSYS or maybe some other FES softwares. And then after designing your part in SolidWorks or AutoCAD, what you do, you have to prepare these kinds of drawing sheets, okay, with all of the standards, dimensions, and descriptions on the sheets. And then you send these drawings to manufacturers. These are some of the standards which you have to follow to make standard sheet parts. Then there is a website using which you can or you can design, or you can make a prototype CAD model of various parts related to mechanical engineering or various engineerings. You can use it when you will start your research cycle. And then here in China, there are some online websites, especially Taobao. Maybe some of the people from you may know about Taobao. It is a very common software, common mobile app as well as software in China, which you can use to purchase almost any kind easily with very appropriately, you can say. So for making customized parts and standard parts, all of the parts are available at Taobao. You have to specify the dimensions and characteristics of the parts, and then you can use Taobao. And one more thing, Taobao Desktop is an English-based platform using which the international students can purchase all of the parts in English language. So they will be very easy for you. Then paper architecture and detailing. These are especially for those students which are which are bound to publish research papers. Here I'm just giving a brief bird eye view, but in future maybe this may be helpful for you. So before writing a paper, you need to find some suitable journal. You can use some journal finding services. You have to study the aims and scopes of the journals and use specific terms and phrases related to journal to prepare your manuscript so that your manuscript may be accepted as easily as possible. So the style and format of the paper should be exactly similar to the journal. You should read the guides for authors of the papers, and then you should fulfill all of the journal requirements for publishing the paper. And then while writing the paper, you follow this order. First of all, you write methodology, then results and discussion, then introduction, then abstract and conclusions, then keywords and highlights, and then title. So the title of a research paper must include these things. The abstract of the research paper must include these things: problem statement, objective, proposed solution, research tools, analysis, data collection, results, hotspots, and significance, very briefly. And then keywords and highlights. I'm leaving this topic because it is not very relevant right now. Then materials and methods. Then results and discussions. I'm leaving this discussion because it is not relevant at this point. The conclusions of a paper must include subject or method which you have used, then some significant results, then research benefits of your research, and then what were the limitations of your study. And before submission, and these things are not only relevant to research paper, but also to your thesis whether you be a master's student or you are a PhD student. So first you have to check your plagiarism and then reduce the plagiarism below the standards, below the recommended values. Then you can use Grammarly or various English editing services to improve the English of the paper or thesis. And then you can use proper citation style, especially for the papers or manuscripts. Then your writing, your format, text headings or subheadings, or also the figures and table captions should be consistent throughout the manuscript or throughout the thesis. All the rules which have been mentioned in guides for authors should be followed. And then you have to double check the figures and table captions for writing your paper as well as your thesis. And then it is very important for newcomer students. You have to take care of these things which I am going to say, because only 2 to 3 slides are left, and these are the most critical things which I have added at the end of the slides. So by extensive literature review, you have to find some knowledge gap or novelty during your coursework, whether you be masters or PhD students. So when you will be performing your coursework, then you have to conduct your extensive literature review side by side so that you can find some significant novelty or knowledge gap on which you have to conduct research in your coming semesters. At the end of the coursework, you should be able to decide your research interest so that you can define your problem easily and prepare your research proposal for proposal defense, both for MSc and master students. But it is better to appear in your proposal defense, also called thesis opening defense, as soon as possible after completion of your coursework. And then you should make plans and strategies to publish as many research papers as you can. And those who are admitted to masters, it's true that they do not have to publish any research paper for their degree completion, but I recommend, or all of the postgraduate students will recommend them to publish at least 1 or 2 research papers during their masters so that they may get admission to PhD in well-reputed and very good organizations, whether in China or some other countries. Because for getting admission in PhD, you have to be very strong in your research background. Then you have to, okay, so for publishing as many research papers as possible, you have to do this thing. During semesters, you have to make efforts to complete your experiments or simulations. And during vacations, you make your full efforts to complete the write-up of your paper so that you can publish as many research papers as possible. In this way, you can publish and you can achieve your targets easily. Then while writing your research paper, what you will do when you are conducting your simulations and experiments, then you continue writing your methods, parameters, variables, design of experiments in your materials and methods section of the paper. Firstly, you can write in rough format initially, and then after deciding your design of experiment or after completing your experiments or simulations, you can finalize the methodology. Then for getting your results, after getting your results from the methods or from experiments, you can make graphs, figures, tables, and you can start discussing the outputs of your study in results and discussion section of the paper. Initially you can write in rough, but later you can finalize it, and then you can go for introduction, conclusions, and abstract of the paper and thesis. Then you have to start writing your thesis at the beginning of the 3rd year for PhD students and mid of the 3rd semester for master students for achieving best results. You can start with rough draft and then keep iterating to reach its final version. And try to complete and finalize your thesis at the beginning of last year for PhD and before last semester masters, or even before it, so that you can claim your degree on time. Because the time is very limited for master students, but it is suitable for PhD students. So master students must follow the timeline very carefully. So thank you all. It was all from my side. If you have any questions, you can ask.
Okay. Thank you so much.